AV in your ears. That's Ambush Vid, giving you this audio visual down the most interesting street in the world. With my boy Steve, Fascination Street. You already know. Let's get it. When you whip in the Fascination Street, what do you...
Hey Streetwalkers, this is a throwback episode with legendary actor Clint Howard. Clint has been working as a professional actor since he was 2 years old, and he first appeared on the show November 19th, 2017. It was such a compelling and fun episode, I decided that it needed to be revisited. So enjoy this throwback episode, tell a friend, and thanks for listening. I believe that everybody has a story, and I'm fascinated to hear them. So come with me as we take a walk down Fascination Street. Hey guys, remember I told you that a few months ago I got to go on this really amazing trip to LA and interview a bunch of cool people? Well, this is another one of those interviews. This is Clint Howard. This will be a part 1 of 2. This dude was so rad. He picked me up from the airport. He let me stay at his house. We hung out every day that I was there. We went out to eat. We went swimming at his childhood home. We did all kinds of cool shit. And he was nice enough to sit down with me for a couple of hours and record some episodes with me. So here's part 1, and enjoy.
Yeah, talk to me, yeah.
Ready? Yep. You good?
New York Shake.
Back the 80s for me.
Yeah, no kidding. What are we listening to, man? What is this?
Well, this is the Kempsters doing the New York Shake, and it was inspired by my trip to New York filming Night Shift.
Night Shift?
Yep. In 1981, I believe, I was back there over New Year's Eve working on the movie. I think we did about 4 weeks in New York, and then they did probably 6 or 8 weeks here at Warner Brothers. And I was back there in New York over the New Year's Eve holiday period. In fact, I had an experience where New Year's Day I found myself in a parked subway car in Penn Station, having not quite stayed awake from my place where I was having fun New Year's Eve and Manhattan. And thank God nothing happened, but you know.
So you fell asleep on a train?
Well, yeah, you know, I think they discourage people from passing out on subway cars.
I was being kind. That's I fell asleep. You're going to go with passed out? Well, it was New Year's Eve.
It was well, yes, it was New Year's morning.
In the 80s.
I'll tell you what, the Kempsters were just firing up, and the Kempsters was a band that I had when I was 23, 24 years old with my best friend Scott and our other buddies, and we were a really good garage band, and we played around the LA club scene. We did enough recording and enough playing to where we were able to go back and find good recordings to digitize, and even though technically the recordings are sloppy, it's really a wonderful memory for me and my other friends that were experiencing those Kempster years. Because you see, I lived at the Burbank Youth Center. I was the first guy in my group of friends to have a house. And when I was 19 years old, that house became the rallying point for every piece of debauchery a Burbank kid could get into. And like, well, first of all, it wasn't debauchery to have a band, but the drums were in the dining room, the monitor, the TV monitor was in the living room, and we had the couch situated a certain way to where a few people could watch us rehearse, because the Kempsters rehearsed in the living room on Kemp Street.
That's so cool. How often do you listen to this album? I probably listened to this album between 70 and 90 times since you gave it to me a year ago.
Well, thank you. You know what? I listen to it. I listen to the Kempsters probably once every 2 months. And when I mean listen, I will go back and listen to, probably about 2 hours worth of recordings. You know, because we have recordings that don't sound real good.
Right.
From
the garage days.
Well, yeah, and, you know, like we played reunions and stuff back in the days where it was analog tape, and the equipment wasn't nearly up to today's technological standards. And in fact, we're very lucky to even have good recordings. Our live recordings, this is from like 1982. This is the Kempsters doing No Brains at All live, and oh man, I love this song. We were setting a stereo Walkman on a cocktail table and recording the band. That's what this is. This is not through a board.
Like a boombox?
This is through a little Sony Walkman.
Oh, really?
Stereo recorder that our guitar player had, and he would try to find the center of the room, and we'd put it on a cocktail table, and we'd have his wife and Scott's girlfriend sit at that table so no one would touch the table and make noise, and hopefully we would get a decent balance of the house.
And y'all did that for a lot of shows?
Yeah, you know, most of the time it didn't work. Most of the time there was something that was overriding something else, like the drums were too hot,
right,
or the bass was overwhelming the lead guitar player, or the rhythm guitar player was not able to get the volume that was needed to carry the song. So, but every once in a while we got it right, and we got it right enough to be able to put together a CD. And I'll tell you what, when I really need to hear rock and roll, I can put on the Kempsters and it still will make the hair on the back of my neck stand up.
Yeah?
I'll turn it up really loud and I can picture myself being there, and you know, it's a little like what people say about being on stage in the theater, is there's no feeling like it. There's no feeling like performing in front of a live audience. I had a tremendous rush performing in front of club audiences this music. I've never done a stage play. So outside of the couple of times I've done sitcoms where there's been a live audience, I've never done like staged performance.
Really?
This is the closest thing I have, and I'll tell you, it was an exhilarating feeling to, with your friends, to get fired up and do original music that you wanted to do your way and entertain people. Although we had a little niche audience, you know, they weren't booking us Friday night at the big clubs, but we had enough people interested in our kind of brand of punk music to where, you know, we drew people into the houses.
That's awesome. Well, let me ask you this. As we roll into this first segment, can I cut in one of the songs off the album?
Oh, of course. The Kempsters are the kind that we're virtually public domain. So, no, if anybody wants to play the music, I say God bless them, tee it up.
All right. Well, which song do you want to do?
Oh, I would be tickled pink if you did any of the songs, including Dying in a Diving Bell or Hard Boiled Babies, but those may be a little tough for most modern audiences. I'll tell you what, a really nice song, and it's our instrumental, is that surf tune, Walk in the Nose.
Walk in the Nose? All right.
Walk in the Nose. Music to eat corncob by.
Corncob. Interesting. All right, guys. Hey, here's Walk in the Nose by the Kempsters.
Now we're gonna do some music deep pussy by. It's a song called Walking the Nose.
Okay, now it's recording. I don't know what happened.
Well, did it not record at all?
No, I didn't record any of that. Damn it.
Well, you know, I have that. I have that Tascam. I mean,
it's working now.
Do you have plenty of juice?
Oh yeah, I got all juice and all room.
Have you ever considered doing a podcast about like things you find really boring,
like history or Benjamin Franklin?
No, boring.
No, I haven't.
You say you want things interesting,
fascinating,
mundane.
Well,
paint dry.
The funny thing is that I'm sure that some of the people that I find fascinating, nobody else will. Like the first episode was, I interviewed my mother-in-law about how she met my father-in-law. You know, like their whole story. And then a little while later, I interviewed my father-in-law about his time in Vietnam. And at one point, this is what really struck me odd about his interview is that I've known this dude 15 years. The family's known him obviously longer, forever. And at one point in his life, he had a pet monkey. And that never comes up. That's not talked about. Like, it just doesn't come up.
Did the monkey meet a bad demise?
It actually did not end well, you know, as...
Gutted like a fish?
No. It fell and hit its head and just kind of went away. But
kind of like William Holden.
Exactly like William Holden.
He should have had a drinking helmet on. If the little monkey would have had a drinking helmet on, William Holden, if he would have had his William Holden drinking helmet on, he would have lived.
Well, he'd still be probably not alive today.
Never fear coffee table corners again.
Well, you know, they actually sell cushions for the corners of coffee tables.
Oh yeah, babies and shit. I'm getting rid of this.
Yeah, they sell babies too.
This is dangerous. I have not hurt myself.
What do you mean it's dangerous?
Oh, sharp, jagged edges around coffee tables. I think I kind of like the idea of a wooden coffee table.
Well, how long have you had? Oh, like a wagon wheel one? You should get that wagon wheel one from that one movie.
Yeah, I don't know, wagon wheels.
Every movie.
Wagon wheels. Have you ever tried to like eat or set something down on a wagon wheel?
No, because
it's funky.
I'm not old. We don't have wagon wheels.
That actually would be
but
a
I bet
good
you
idea.
could make one.
Well, you know what? I'm not a big furniture guy. I've thought about with my arts and crafts and doing the snow globing and various other things that I might try to tackle a piece of furniture, but that would take real skill. And, you know, like spit and little pieces of gum don't really work real well when you're talking about building a nice piece of furniture. I did finish a nice piece of furniture that's back in the bedroom, a little vanity that's really nice. I like working with my hands.
Clearly.
For such a long time, I didn't. You know, I played golf, but I wasn't creative. Unless trying to make a par on a long par 4 creative. But
well, you got to get creative to get out of the sand, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Golf is such a double-edged sword. I so miss it and enjoyed it and have such great memories of it, and yet I don't for a second want to think about how hard it's going to be to again play consistent enough to consider myself.
Decent.
You know, yeah, because I'm not going to play if I'm just a hack. If I'm looking up at 100 in 6 months, I'll have to say sayonara golfing, you know.
You don't mean 6 months from now.
Well, when I start playing.
Right.
I mean, there's a golf course up here that's relatively short that I used to be able to, you know, have a really bad flu and shoot 84, 85 on. And when I had my
It's a 9-hole putt-putt?
No. It's a little 4,800 yard, 5,000 yard par 70. It's a little short golf course, tight. If you hit it straight and you kind of know how to play it, and you know it's a good little golf course. It's called DeBell here in Burbank, and I love playing golf, but I do not like looking north at 100 because. To me, golf is a game that you keep score. It's not hit and giggle. It's not don't count that judge. It's not there's a do-over. We all have do-overs now. No. You put your peg in the ground and you put your ball on top, and that first swing you take is your first stroke. It's just the way I always played. And, you know, I got mad at people that didn't play golf. And so I'm not going to be able to enjoy myself if I can't play. I mean, like one thing I was talking to my buddy about, the short game. I mean, here I've been feigning and occasionally going and hitting balls and watching it go frightfully short. I've got lousy grass to chip on, so I can't really chip here at the house. The short game is really, really where a guy my age can make his bones.
Right.
I mean, how many greens am I going to hit on my best day? 3 or 4. I get up and down another 3 or 4 times, and, you know, I got myself a little round going. Now it's 3 giant whacks to get somewhere greenside, and then I'll play hockey till I get it to the cup, and I'll take my 8.
Now, your short game can't be too affected, right?
You know, when you stand over that ball and you got a little money on the line and you know you got to really land it right there and you got to have a little bite to it. And you know when they say you got the yips? 58-year-old men get the yips. And you can get the yips with your pitch shot. The only thing I never had any trouble was bunker play. I was always about a 4 or 5 stroke better bunker player than
Really?
Yeah. I was a 5 bunker player when I was an 8 or a 9. I just, for whatever reason, take it back and accelerate and hit behind the ball and don't be shy. And it was amazing how under conditions where I was around really good golfers and stuff, they'd see me take my vicious pass at the bunker and I'd plop it 5 feet and make the putt. You know, in fact, bunker play is probably the best thing I ever did.
Really?
No.
Maybe you should start practicing there to get your confidence back.
The only problem is I'd practice in a bunker long enough to where I'd start developing tendonitis. I'm screwed. I should get serious about starting to start that professional sexual twister league. Like sexual twister it's the coming thing.
Naked twister? Yeah.
Well, I would assume if it's sexual, you're not playing with scuba diving outfit on. It's challenging. I've had a few test cases, and it's harder than it looks. And that plastic gets kind of slippery.
I'm sure it does.
So, you know. But you know what? The wonderful thing about sexual twister, no matter how fierce the competition is, it always ends up in laughter.
Everybody wins.
Yep. Oh, it's a win-win all the way around. So now, how many times have you been in California?
Counting this time?
Yeah.
1.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
When I landed in Burbank, I sent my wife a text in all caps. It said, "I'm in California."
Oh, you really did one of those deals?
Yeah.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Did you kiss the tarmac?
No, that's gross, man.
No, you got to kiss the tarmac.
No, I don't.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
no.
The greasy oil.
No, thank you.
You can smell it from about 6 inches away.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, I've kissed the tarmac a couple places internationally.
Yeah, that's because you were afraid the plane was going to go down.
Well, I just wanted to make sure everybody saw that I was kissing everybody's ass right from the get-go. And from about 6 inches down, you could really smell good airport tarmac cement.
Sounds great.
Oh, it's just...
Never happened.
It's...
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors. Let's get back into it.
Good. You know what? It may even get warm enough here to where we could even try cooking an egg on the cement.
It doesn't get that hot here.
No, I've done it. It takes a while. It's not like down in Texas where you can cook a couple eggs pretty quick.
Yeah, you can cook fucking bacon on the sidewalks in San Antonio. It gets pretty hot, man.
Kenny Rogers Prostra chicken.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it gets hot as balls down there, man.
Yeah. Well, you know, I've been to Austin plenty, and I like Austin.
So you got a buddy in Austin, right?
Austin's a great town. And I've worked in Austin several times. Got good memories. Listened to great music.
A lot of music.
Went and saw. I'm good friends with the Cheap Trick outfit, and
what?
It just so happened. Yeah, no, I know those guys pretty well. And
what does that have to do with Austin? Did they live in Austin?
No, they were playing. They opened for Aerosmith, and Aerosmith was touring through, and I saw that they were playing at the University of Texas Stadium.
How are you friends with Cheap Trick?
I went to see them play in about 1992, and I saw Cheap Trick play starting in about 76. I saw 3 New Year's Eve shows in a row in Los Angeles. I've seen them.
Where at? Like the Hollywood Bowl or something?
No, the Forum.
Really?
17505. I mean,
Wow.
they were big. They were the New Year's Eve act. In fact, when they really broke, I saw them at UC Irvine, which is a brainiac school down here south. And a friend of mine played baseball. and he's not a brainiac, but he was a good pitcher, and he played for Irvine. And he was down there going to school at the time, and Cheap Trick was going to have an unannounced like warm-up gig for the Forum show.
Really?
And it was like, you know, it was December 29th. And my buddy Bob, we got tickets front and center, and it was just, you know, they were a little looser, and it was a shakedown. They were really using it as a real live, you know, mic check. I didn't know him then. And then in 1991 or 92, they were playing a little club in Ventura called the Ventura Concert Theater. And it was one of those old movie theaters that the seats had been torn out. And they had built risers and made it like a little nightclub. And Cheap Trick was playing. And I went with my buddy who was Scott. We had the Kempsters together.
Okay.
And he rendezvoused with me up there, and we had a great time. And we were both Cheap Trick devotees. And literally about halfway through the show, this big bouncer taps me on the shoulder, and you know, you can barely hear. And he like leans down and yells in my ear, "Rick wants to see you backstage after the show. Just meet over here." And of course, you know, and that sparked a friendship that has lasted this long. And I call him occasionally, and I'm actually closer to Rick's son. Rick's son Dax is the drummer now for Cheap Trick.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that's a blast to be good friends with the son of Rick Nielsen. Oh, and by the way, he's a friggin' hell of a drummer. Oh, and by the way, he doesn't warm up. Can you imagine a professional musician, a drummer, not warming up before a concert?
Really? He doesn't?
He says the downbeat's enough for him.
Wow.
Yeah. He was also cocky enough to tell me that his brother Miles is a musician. And Rick Nielsen is so proud. First of all, he looks like Rick Nielsen. I mean, even though he's 70 now or whatever, you know, he's got his outfit on. But he whips out his phone and he's showing family photos like they were baby pictures. And he's got photos of, well, Dax was playing in the band already, so he didn't have photos of Dax. He had his daughter. His daughter's a model, grandkids. He had a picture of Miles, and I mentioned Miles to Dax. And Miles had a movie he had done the music for won Best Documentary Feature Academy Awards. And
really?
Rick was really proud of that. That's
really cool.
Rick led with that. And Dax he didn't pull me aside, but later on we were talking, and Dax goes, "I can play circles around Miles." And I did most of that music. So not only is he a great drummer, he's a great dude. He's a cocky son of a bitch, and
That's
I like
awesome.
that too. And he's dialed in. And I've gotten to know, I would love
How old is Dax?
Dax is probably, I'm guessing Dax is close to 40.
Okay.
Rick is in his mid to late 60s, and Robin Zander, the singer, who is an absolute just, I don't know what he does. He may not be a human being because he sings so much, and Rick says he's the best singer he's ever seen by a mile. He will show up not being able to talk, and within 45 minutes he's singing.
Not being able to talk like...
Not being able to talk.
Really?
Can't talk. He goes into the bathroom and he blows it out. And I can't do it now because you would distort, but it would just, he just goes in and he used to smoke cigarettes. He doesn't smoke anymore.
Right.
But I would love to direct him as an actor, and I would love to put Dax in a movie because the camera loves Dax, and Dax has just the kind of attitude that I think he could be a really good actor, and I think he'd be a lead. Now Rick is the self-pronounced world's worst actor. And Robin laughs and says he's just about as bad as Rick. But I don't think so. I think Robin could act.
Yeah, you do?
Yeah. So anyway, listen, I've been in music. Well, I listened to Alice Cooper and David Bowie in about 1975, and that hooked me. And I started listening to them and to Lou Reed, and I started my own band right out of high school, and I've loved music. Cheap Trick was one of our absolute, not idols, but they inspired us. They were the king of the 3-minute song. And Scott and I said, you know what, if we can't tell this song in 3 minutes, we're not doing it. And we would put ourselves under that gun, because that's the kind of band we were. We kind of did angry young man music.
Right.
And angry young man music doesn't really play for long, unless you've got just a kick-ass lead filling, which we had a pretty good lead guitar player, but our songs were kept pretty short. God, we love Cheap Trick. We patterned songs after Cheap Trick songs, and then getting to meet them, big thrill. One of the advantages to being an actor.
Is that you get to meet some really cool people?
There are perks. There's a tremendous non-perk, which is the insecurity.
So just to be clear, you're saying there are perks to being an actor?
Well, there are incredible non-perks. There's insecurities that drive you insane.
And then the whole privacy issue.
But I don't even count that. I count on not knowing that you've got another job. Not knowing, is this it? Did I miss something? Am I done? When 6 months goes by and the phone doesn't ring and you're just married and your wife's looking at you, it's a whole new ballgame, and so that's an insecurity and a scar that's real. But the perks are also real. Getting to meet Rick Nielsen, getting to look him in the eye for the first time, and then getting to listen to him play guitar after knowing him. And then in Austin, he was on stage playing a guitar that was $220,000. He had like 15 guitars with him. And my buddy, who is a guitar collector himself, he doesn't have anything worth more than about $50,000. Rick was playing on stage with a guitar that was conservatively $250,000.
Wow.
And he's got tens of millions of dollars worth of guitars.
Sure.
And Dax told me, I'm telling a little company secret, Dax was a fill-in for a while.
Right.
And then when Dax finally got a call from his dad and was being offered a contract to be the drummer for Cheap Trick, $30,000 a year total. Now they play a lot of shows. It's a lot of traveling. Now he was allowed to.
But he's a hired gun.
He was the son of Rick Nielsen. He was allowed to play with other bands if it didn't conflict with a Cheap Trick gig, but $30,000 and coach travel. Rick was making him pay. It's not quite like that now. And the fact is also, Dax is one of 3 children of Rick, and Rick's done pretty well for himself. So, if Rick wants to be a little cheap now, it ends up working out good for everybody in the long run. But anyway, when Dax said that what he was making was $30,000 a year for a frontline band, that's one band leader who is cheap. He had his son. That's the thing about it is and Bunny taught him to play. Bunny Carlos taught Dax to play the drums.
Really?
If once Rick saw that he had a son that could play the drums and be in the band, I mean, geez, if you can't lowball him, who can you lowball?
Right. Now that makes me wonder what Wolfgang Van Halen's getting paid.
You know what? It could be ridiculously low. He's gotten a bump, and he records.
I'm sure.
In fact, last year it made me cry, listening to songs where the father is playing the guitar and the son is playing the drums, and they're playing rock and roll like nobody's business. That last album that they came out with, Bang Zoom Crazy Goodbye, I think that's what it's called. Anyway, it's really, really a good album. And for a man in his mid to late 60s, Rick Nielsen is a guitar god. And he is when people like Slash. Mm-hmm. I had a chance to talk to him for a minute. Slash idolizes Rick Nielsen.
Right.
And Slash is a freaking great guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, it's just the perk, tickets to baseball games. Occasionally, a World Series game will pop up.
Like the MLB World Series?
Yeah.
Because I know you go to a lot of college World Series. Well, not a lot, but
I went to college World Series. Yeah, no, when the Dodgers are in town, I mean, listen, that's when you throw. If you're an actor, Ron, me, Ron a lot more than me, but you throw your weight around, and the business is getting a lot tougher on people getting freebies into games. Like you don't see Flava Flav very much anymore.
I think he's in prison.
Is he? Used to see him. He used to be.
I think he took a butcher knife to his stepson.
Really?
Yeah. He might be out by now, but.
Do you think they made him take his watch away?
His clock off?
His clock off when he went to the can?
You're going to need to put your personal effects in here.
We need a moving van.
I'm going to need a bigger envelope. Boy.
What a character. You know another guy I was thinking of the other day? Super Freak.
Rick James?
Rick James.
Is he still around?
I think so.
Didn't he go to jail too?
Yeah, a couple of times.
I think, didn't him and his wife, chain up some chick in the basement?
Yes, they had his thing going.
It was the 70s.
Hey.
Or the 90s.
Super
whatever.
Freak.
Yeah, he wasn't lying.
I love music and life in general. If you really stop to listen to the song or smell the roses or laugh at the joke, life's pretty good. It's rare that, at least for me, it's rare that life gets shitty.
Well, that's good.
There's just too much good stuff. Listen, I'm a conservative, and I would have voted for a potted plant as opposed to the Democratic nominee.
Okay.
However, I'm not a huge Trump guy. Trump is the greatest thing to happen to American politics since sliced bread.
How so?
First of all, he's not being a bad president. He's unique. He's different.
Unique.
He's being picked on a lot. He is firing back like nobody's business.
Nobody's ever done before.
He has been the most entertaining president, and I guarantee you he has made all of our enemies think twice.
Think so?
I would think that the Russians would want Hillary in there, not Donald Trump. Hillary knows the system. Hillary knows the game. Hillary's been Secretary of State. Hillary was profiteering while she was working for the federal government. I would think that would be somebody that you might want to do business with if you were Russia. And this Donald Trump businessman that likes to put his name on everything and fly around in his own jet. I wonder who's using the jet now. His kid? Because he's not using the Trump jet.
No, I thought he said he was going to because his jet was nicer. But I don't.
His jet's not nicer than the 747.
That's what he said. He said,
he's full of crap. Well, you know what? That's part of his charm. Is Trump's just full of crap about 98% of the time, like most movie producers and television producers.
Sure.
He's an active television producer.
Still?
He's got a credit airing. He's a regular producer on a show. It was a court case.
What show is it?
It was a spinoff of Apprentice or something, and he's getting executive producer credit.
Really?
And the question came up is, can the president be executive producer on a show? And the answer was yes.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, finally there'll be a full-fledged movie star. I mean, Ronald Reagan retired from being an actor and became a politician, but eventually George Clooney or
You think so?
Dwayne Johnson.
You know what? It wouldn't surprise me a bit if it was Dwayne Johnson.
If Dwayne Johnson played his cards right, he could be the president in 8 years. He wouldn't even need to run for another office.
He might be able to be the president in 3 years.
Well, yeah. He'd have to write a book. He'd have to get busy. I don't believe he could do what Schwarzenegger did in California.
Really?
I think he'd have to prove himself. And he could. He seems like a very articulate guy, and he certainly hasn't made bad moves as a man in the entertainment business.
And it doesn't seem like he's made a lot of enemies either. Every interview that I've heard where people work with him, they say he's the greatest person they've ever met.
And funny how this is, it's hard to pin him down politically.
Oh, I never thought about that, but I guess I really don't know.
I think conservatives think
he did
he's
a bit about
conservative.
that on Saturday Night Live.
About being a little...
About running for president.
Oh.
And then Tom Hanks came out and said he'd be his running mate.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Tom thought about it, I think, for a little while.
You think so?
Yeah. Ron and Tom are pretty good friends.
You think?
Well, you'd be
How
surprised.
many movies have they done together?
Well, they did they did the Da Vinci Codes. They did 3 of those, and then they did Splash. Did he do another one? Maybe not.
I wanted to say Cocoon, but that wasn't him.
No. They've worked together. Oh, Apollo 13.
There you go.
Which was, he was not the first choice.
Really?
Costner. And then they took a hard look at Harrison Ford and determined he was too old.
I think they took a hard look at Harrison Ford and decided he was a fucking asshole.
Well, he was old.
Still is.
Yeah, and it's amazing.
Was it Burbank Airport where he almost hit a plane?
No, it was somewhere up north, I think. I'll tell you what, I knew a guy who went to school with him, and he was, even though he was on everybody's radar, Harrison Ford, he was on everybody's radar as a movie star. I knew people that were, Gino Havens was a guy that worked for George Lucas, and Gino Havens was a casting expert. And Gino Havens would absolutely just drool talking about Harrison Ford. And this is before the conversation.
Really?
It's before he did anything. He did, and Francis hired him to do that little part in Apocalypse Now. And Harrison didn't really like it, would rather be building furniture. And honest to God, he considered himself a much better finishing carpenter than he was an actor.
Interesting.
And that sort of laissez-faire.
If I remember correctly, didn't he get cut out of E.T.? Wasn't he in E.T.? I think he was like Elliot's principal at school. And
did he?
A couple of scenes and they cut it out. I think that's true.
He was, I've seen Apocalypse Now a few times. I've kind of reconnected my friendship with Charlie. And Charlie is an Apocalypse Now devotee.
I'm glad that you have rekindled your relationship with Charlie.
Charlie's a good dude.
He seems like a really great guy who's made a couple of bad decisions, but doesn't seem to catch a break.
Charlie hasn't made one bad decision in his life. He knows exactly what he's done, and he is willing to pay the price. Sometimes he gets a little sad that the price is steep.
He hasn't made an uninformed decision, you're saying? He's made some questionable decisions.
Well, not in his mind.
Well,
there was only one time. I asked him, because we worked on that. There was a thing that Crackle, that
I know, I watched
platform.
it. I liked it a lot.
Oh,
it was super cool.
Mad Families.
Mad Families.
Jeez.
Yeah, y'all should go check that out. It's on Crackle. It's about a bunch of different families who go camping.
A film made in 16 days with a cast of hundreds. It was phenomenal that it even got finished.
It was great.
Charlotte, the gal that was in the Carl's Jr. commercials.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Oh, man, she is the most beautiful woman in the world, and she's a great actress. The problem with Charlotte...
Was she in that movie?
Yeah.
Was it Charlie's girl in that movie?
She was the tart. She was the blonde.
Right.
She was at Carl's Jr. commercials where she would eat the Carl's
Like in a bikini and
the
dripping all
stuff
over
would
her?
drip down and she'd wiggle.
Yeah,
and
those are great commercials.
Well, I'll tell you what, she's prettier in person.
Yeah.
And she doesn't act like a wimp. She doesn't act like a prima donna. She acts like a woman who kind of knows she's pretty, but she'd like to make some money.
Cool.
Yeah, and she was really good. And that movie was so mismanufactured that, we didn't have any time to rehearse or develop anything. And for somebody like me, I worked on so many low-budget movies. It was
kind of all of a sudden, wasn't it? Like, there wasn't a whole lot of lead time, was there?
No, the production heads had like 4 days of prep. The prop guy, here's a movie about 3 families camping. Mm-hmm. Multi-generational families camping.
Multicultural, multi-generational.
Less than a week of prep for the prop men to gather all their stuff.
That's crazy.
I know. Yep. Sony cutting it to the bone.
Where'd y'all film? Was that here?
Out at Disney Ranch. It was great. It was because we were, where we are right now is going against traffic. So during commuter time, everybody's coming into town. We were going out of town. We were going out to Disney Ranch, and Disney's got an odd way of operating. They've got little dudes in hats standing around telling you not to go more than 7 miles an hour. They've got dudes.
What kind of hats?
Like the same kind of hats that they would wear on the African safari ride.
Oh, okay.
Like a pith helmet.
Okay, gotcha.
And shorts. and show you where the cigarette butt cans are. Although I did give up cigarette smoking a couple of years ago and managed to give up dipping.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors. Let's get back into it.
When I quit playing golf, I managed to quit dipping.
Well, you had nowhere to spit.
Yeah, and I had no reason. It was like the bovine serenity that was gained by putting a little dip in my mouth was very helpful on a golf course. But without having to play golf, it's like it's not much fun to dip at a restaurant.
Right.
It's doable.
Sure.
I went about 15 years without acting without a dip, or every movie I've ever been. In fact, it was just the last thing I did was one of the first things, the second thing I'd ever done where I hadn't had dip.
What's the last thing you did?
The last thing I did that had dip. Well, it was Crackle. It was Mad Families. I had a little, it was more for the character than anything else. By that point in my dipping career, I was dipping a can about once a month.
Oh, okay.
So I wasn't even, there are guys that dip a can every 2 days.
Or one day.
Yeah. Or, you hate those guys when they say, "Hell, can I have a little bit?" And, you've got a nice can of about half a dip.
And they take half the can.
It's like they use their finger like a fish hook. They kind of get in there and scoop it up and,
It's like they're picking up a bowling ball. They stick their whole fucking hand in there.
Yeah.
What are you doing, man?
Hey, I've borrowed dip from guys, so.
Sure, but not the whole can.
No. But it was a nasty habit nobody really liked, except I liked it. And I kind of liked it because it kept the makeup man on their toes. Or, wardrobe occasionally, I'd have a little spillage. I'd have to go to wardrobe. But no, like this Planet Ibsen, this little independent experimental film that I did several years ago with a he wasn't young at the time, but a child actor named Gabriel Damon, who's a good friend of mine. We went down to Florida and worked on this little $80,000 movie, and this young guy had won.
That was the whole budget?
Yeah, but he got $200,000 in goods and services.
Oh, cool.
He won a screenwriting award. So
in Florida.
Yeah, it was the Suncoast something screenwriting competitions, and he had all the 16 millimeter film he could shoot and develop. He had all the camera equipment and all the prime lenses he needed. They gave him a grip package. He had electrical package. What he was responsible for was paying the actors and feeding them.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was the movie's a little convoluted and a little slow, but that's where I play Ibsen, almost like an intellectual Beetlejuice. It was a fun character to play, and not that Ibsen dipped, but I played him dipping. And also, too, it was all in the mind of August Strindberg. So I wasn't really capturing Ibsen. I was capturing what Strindberg thought Ibsen would be.
Right.
So I was like an intellectual Beetlejuice, and I had ink stains because I was writing, and it was just a fun part to play. It was entered in the Santa Barbara Film Festival. The fellow that wrote the screenplay was the director, and he fell in love with the material a little much. And I only wish that myself and Steve Dumoschel, the other actor that played Strindberg, and Gabe even, would have had a little more of a chance to work with the material and get it a little livelier and a little more honest. But this director, Jonathan, and I really like him, he's a good guy, he just, at every mention of changing the material, he dug his heels in.
Really?
To the point where after a few days, you just kind of quit asking, because it's like, I don't want to, he's got an excuse, and God bless him. And yet, at the end of the movie, the thing that he liked the best about the movie were the improvs we did.
That's funny.
God damn it. If he just would have done that.
Well, this was his first movie, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a learning.
No, I know. Yes. And me and Gabe had a wager going because we were both on for the entire movie. We traveled together down to Florida and we came home together. He played a young August Strindberg, and this fellow Steve Dumoschel played an older Strindberg. But we had a wager going on how many people would quit the movie. The over-under at like 6.5.
Wow.
I took the over. It covered. The prop man sent it over. The prop man quit, and he backed his pickup truck into the little stage area that we had. There was a Air Force base down in Homestead, Florida that got pretty much torn down. They made the Air Force base smaller, and then all the ruined buildings on the outside of the Air Force base were just left. And one of them, they were letting people use to shoot stuff in. So we were using it as it was a heavy cement building. It was an old Air Force building, and it was crumbling. That's where we shot. And we saw this prop man drive his pickup truck into that building, and he started to load his props up. And we weren't nearly finished.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And as a selfish actor, I've got my 3 or 4 things that I'm using regularly. Right. And I went to the guy, and I can't think of his name right now. He was a nice guy. He just had enough.
Sure.
You know? And I pleaded with him. I said, hey, listen, I'm an actor, and I really use that pen and, the little ink dauber thing. It's like, if you could just leave those. I mean, I promise I'll get them to you, And after a minute, he finally relented, and he left a few things behind, and then he took this truck. And then I collected from Gabe. There were a couple of questionable ones. Did they quit or just disappear? Because on little low-budget movies, you can't really tell all the time.
Sure.
But those low-budget movies, I say those, things like Planet Ibsen or Ice Cream Man or, I did a little micro-budgeted movie a couple of years ago for a dear friend of the family. It was the retelling of the wolf story, Little Red Riding Hood, except it was called Huff. It was about a psychotic stepfather and 3 little junior teenage girls.
Okay.
And it was a horror movie, and these guys were trying to design it right into that prime spot. And I had a blast working on it. I played one of the neighbors of the psychotic guy, and he almost killed me in the scene. I see him kidnap one of the girls, but I'm kind of scared to say anything. But just getting to work, when it's low budget, it's almost like playing a baseball game where there's not a lot of pressure. I can relax and throw a lot of pitches on the outside corner. When I act, I can do things a little different. If it's a mainstream movie, I'll tend to play it safe because I know that this is a piece of business and they want a certain thing. And even though they might like surprises, what they really want is they want a guy like me to come in and throw strikes. Because, I'm not a run-of-the-movie guy. I'm a relief pitcher. And when they hired Clint Howard, when Adam Sandler hired Clint Howard to be in his couple little movies, what they're hiring is a guy to come in and blow gas and throw strikes. And it's fun, when you're in the minor leagues, you can nibble at the corners and even walk a guy, nobody really cares.
Sure.
Hey, listen, for a guy like me to have all the experience of working in big budgeted movies and shows as network television programs as a child and, being around and getting to experience all of Ron's comings and goings and adventures. And, you don't know how many great phone calls I've gotten in the middle of the night with him venting.
Him being excited or him?
Venting.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Wanting to, try to figure out how he can
handle somebody
or something.
Right.
And, he learned from Tony La Russa, who was the manager for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Okay.
At one point, he said, he gets paid to manage all 25 guys. And if there's a couple of pricks in the group, he gets paid to manage those guys too. And Ron made the connection. Ron would love to make every movie with Tom Hanks, but Ron gets paid to handle the tough ones too.
Right.
Ron was a great basketball coach. He would have been...
Who did he coach for?
He coached for the Howard Hurricanes. When I was 10, 11, and 12 years old, we had a team.
I feel like I've seen a jersey somewhere.
Yes, in my office. I think that's Jerry Figueroa's jersey, as a matter of fact. Dad was the manager, and Ron was the coach, and from the time Ron was about 16 years old, he had this innate ability to get the very most out of his talent. We never had the best guys in the city. We never, we didn't have the best guy. We didn't have the tallest. We didn't have the best shooters, but we had a plan. And we won the championship one year, and then one year we lost in the championship game. And it was all because Ron could coach him up. And Ron did not have a system and make the players fit into the system. Ron would size up his talent and then set about getting the most out of them, which is what he does as a director. We've had long conversations about this. Mom and Dad came from Oklahoma, and it's pretty bleak. There's a lot of bleakness in and around.
Well, especially back then.
Yeah, now even. The oil business has gotten a lot of people, wildcat and poor, and the farming business has changed because it's gotten all corporate. The weather's bad. If Dad hadn't had the audacity, the chutzpah, to go to New York City and break into the business, Ron didn't think he could do it, and I don't believe I would have had
Y'all have had this conversation?
Yeah, Ron would have been a high school teacher and maybe a basketball coach. Would have been a good one.
What would you have been?
Oh, probably an inmate.
You think you would have just got in trouble?
Well, yeah, I think knowing some of my relatives and stuff, and the weather and the opportunity or lack of opportunity, the marriages to the same woman and different women, and it's pretty nutty stuff back there. And I don't have any sort of particular inbred family or anything, but it's a harder life. And I just don't think that I would have been the kind of guy to lace up my shoes and go to New York City.
What made your dad do it?
He wanted...
Was he married at the time? He wasn't,
no,
right?
He wanted to not be a farmer. He got the bug when he was about... I'll tell you what, you ought to have my dad.
I would love to have your dad.
He is a...
Let's call him up. He can fly home right now.
Well, yeah, I think he's a little preoccupied right now with what he's got going back east.
But you said he's coming home this weekend?
He is coming home Saturday. I don't know.
I don't leave till Tuesday,
There you go. He'd be way up for it. But he can recall the exact moment when he got the acting bug. Back when Dad grew up, where he grew up, their idea of a Saturday night was put up a boxing ring and let anybody put on the gloves and box. And people would stand around and watch, and that was entertainment. And at one point, when he was about 19, he had gone to the University of Oklahoma for a year and a half.
Is that the one in Norman?
Yes. And Mom and Dad were introduced to each other by Dennis Weaver.
I love that story.
Dennis was an upper division actor at school, and he was teaching a scene study class, and he gave one side to Dad and one side to Mom. For
those listeners who are, let's say in their 20s.
Yes.
Did you ever work with Dennis Weaver?
Yes.
What?
Oh, hold on. And Dennis Weaver put Mom and Dad together.
Uh-huh.
Dennis was from Kentucky. Dennis was a health food nut, and he very quickly got on Gunsmoke and became a character named Chester and became very famous and won Emmys. And
he won Emmys on Gunsmoke?
As Chester.
Okay. Did your dad work on Gunsmoke?
Yes. Dad was born on a horse. In fact, once he got done with the University of Oklahoma, he literally was considering riding his horse to Hollywood so the people in Hollywood could see what a real cowboy looked like. And
none of this, I've got a saddle in my trunk?
No. Dad, without batting an eye, could ride across the country. Dad's mom, Grandma, was one of the best horsewomen that anybody's ever seen of her generation.
Really?
Yeah.
What was her name?
Ethel. She never rode competitively, like my cat, only it's not. I didn't name my cat after my grandma. Well, how about we take a break?
Let's pause here.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, I think that's a long enough episode. We're going to go ahead and cut it right there. Come back next time for part 2, where I hang out with Clint Howard just a little bit more. Welcome back to part 2 of Clint Howard. This episode is a little bit shorter than the last one, but there's still some really good stuff in here. And stay tuned for the end of the episode, because directly after the episode, you're going to hear an excerpt from the Gilbert Gottfried's Amazing Colossal podcast, where Clint was on, and he talked about little old me. Now, that was a little bit before I flew out there, but it was already in the works that I was about to. So, enjoy, guys.
Yeah, talk to me, yeah.
Hey, Clint, I think I read or heard somewhere that I want to say you got a scholarship to go to college.
Oh, yeah. No, I won a full scholarship to go to Pepperdine University, the idyllic campus overlooking Malibu, Pacific Ocean. I won a scholarship. And
Was it for bowling?
it was journalism.
Journalism.
And if I wasn't going to continue being in the entertainment business as an actor, I would have pursued journalism.
So by this time, you had been in the business for a decade.
I'd been a professional actor at this point by 15, 16 years.
Okay.
But I've been taught journalism in junior high and high school. Great teacher, Steve Campbell, was a brilliant educator. He's retired now. But anyway, he inspired me to pursue journalism. And I got the scholarship at Pepperdine through winning a contest. I was competing against other people. I got the certificate saying, congratulations. I went to registration and they took me aside and they said, Mr. Howard, there is a little confusion. I hope you understand it was a 4-need scholarship. And I was a little stunned, and I wasn't as cocky then as I was now, because I would have said, what the fuck? Because I won the award.
Right.
But when they said it was a 4-need scholarship and that I was going to have to pay for my units, well, I had brought my checkbook with me because I knew there were going to be things that even the scholarship wasn't going to cover.
Sure.
So, as it turns out, I had to pay the whopping grand total of $103 a unit. And I stayed at Pepperdine for 6 weeks.
Oh, 6 whole weeks.
Oh, man, I was a hell of a higher educated person.
So you finished college in 6 weeks.
Well, I finished the classes. I stopped going.
You were finished with college.
I got a job is what really happened.
Oh, really?
Ron and I sold a script to NBC. They did a TV movie called Cotton Candy. And I had pitched the script, or Ron and I had worked up the idea, and we pitched it to a lady at NBC, Deanne Barkley, she was running the TV movie division, and she loved it. And it was
like a movie of the week kind of a thing, back when they did that?
Yes, it was an underdog story about a high school band, and it was a cute little softball. NBC and Deanne Barkley really kind of made it a softball. In my mind, as a 17-year-old kid, I didn't see the movie as a softball. I thought the music should have been edgier. I was thinking it was all going to be kind of tougher. And yet, we got into the mix, and no, what they really wanted was cotton candy. So we made them a softball. It gave me a great excuse to disenroll in college, unregister or whatever they call it. So I officially got out of school.
Your classes
I didn't
or whatever.
get Fs, right?
Right.
Well, a couple of years later, my mom was hounding me, and there's a little college, little university over here called Cal State Northridge.
Northridge. That's where they had that crazy bank robber shootout, right?
Well, yeah, they had a real bad earthquake out there. The bank robber shootout was in North Hollywood.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was Northridge. My bad.
The one where the cops had to break into the gun store to get weapons to
Yeah.
fight. Yeah, no, that was North Hollywood.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So anyway, Mom, to get her off my case, I said, okay, I'll go to Northridge. I'll take a class or two, So I go and enroll. I find some sort of softball class that counts, I was an undeclared major.
Underwater basket weaving?
Well, no, it had a book.
Oh, okay.
Underwater basket weaving, I assume, would only have brochures. But I go into this class, and I'm sitting there, and this teacher, educator, instructor, professor, whatever he was, seemed like a decent enough guy. He started doing his thing, and in about 5 minutes, I realized I was in the wrong place. And 5 minutes later, I was walking out of that classroom to never return.
Really?
And the teacher did look me kind of, I caught his attention as I was leaving the classroom. I didn't make a big deal about it, like call bullshit and slam the door. I just quietly tried to leave because I didn't want to be in college. Well, I forgot to disenroll. I failed to get out of the class. So like 12 weeks later, I got one of those little computer-generated things from Cal State Northridge saying I flunked my class. So my only official college transcript says F. That's Clint Howard's college career.
Sweet.
And I would say I miss it, but I really don't.
Well, there's always time to who cares. Nobody.
Yeah, no, and I wouldn't want to
Life's
be
too
Rodney
short.
Dangerfield
Fuck all
going
that.
back to school. I'm not funny enough.
Oh, what about, would you be Billy Madison going back to school?
Well, Billy Madison was only about 25. See, I'd be a lot closer to Social Security. Like, I probably would be in retirement by the time I got to college, and I really don't want to be like that elderly dude that's in honors English, because that's what they call the guys. That's what I would call them.
Sure.
Oh, the old dude that's in the history class. That old guy, God, he's gonna die any day.
Yeah, that
That's
guy.
what you say when
Is that guy gonna make it through class?
Yeah. Well, no, he leaves.
All right, everybody, look right, look left. One of these people is going to die before the end of the semester.
So I'm not one of those people that say, kids, go get that college education. Because I honestly can say, college is probably a really good thing if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer. But, in my opinion, life is the best place to get educated. And, I think almost for drill, a high school kid should take a year off and travel. And even if everybody's scared that he might get hurt, well, you know what? It's a big old world out there. And, most 18-year-olds that take a year off and go sightseeing or go see someplace that they like to see, very few of them die. Most of them come back with great stories and wonderful experiences. So that's my tip of the day.
All right, sounds great.
All right, Clint, one of my favorite projects of yours that is a relatively recent project is a TV show called Still the King on the Country Music Television Network, CMT. It stars Billy Ray Cyrus and Joey Lauren Adams, and you're on there. Why don't you tell me a story from the set about your character, Crazy Dave, and how you guys came up with this nutty character?
Told Potsy and the gal that was directing, I said, this isn't really going to play because these words, this guy, I mean, he sounds dumb as an 18-year-old. Imagine how I'm going to sound. And we, quickly came up with a handle of, well, okay, are there 58-year-old roadies? How can you be batshit crazy and in your mid-50s and still be a roadie? Well, you got to do something well. I knew a roadie one time that slept with his eyes open.
Really?
Very effective. Crazy Dave was just, he might be an idiot, but by God, he's like,
on account of my name's Dave.
Radar O'Reilly.
Fucking love Radar O'Reilly.
Yeah, well, he had that something special. Well, like Crazy Dave, There was a great joke in the first one that they cut out, and it was about the old stealing the guitar trick, and because that's what Billy Ray Cyrus says. He said he was playing a trick. He was really trying to steal the guitar, but it was a prank, right? No. Mm-hmm. And I looked at him and I go, yeah, like the time that one used to steal the wife prank.
Oh, shit. Oh, was that in the script?
Yes, it was, and it got cut.
Probably CMT was like, we're still a fledgling network.
I think it's time more than anything else. I don't think
really?
there was anything that we were doing that was out of bounds. It's just a matter of they're shooting so fast and throwing it up against the wall.
I really liked that show. I didn't know what to expect, and
I loved working on it.
I really liked it.
The second director was really good. I really liked the second guy. The woman was, I liked her. She was already preoccupied. She was up to her neck in directing, and I was a last-second hire, and I don't think she would have hired me. She was giving me some direction that was not me, and I know it's not what they hired me to do. And I sort of, without making an issue out of it, I sort of had to put the producer together with the director and have the producer explain to the director what is happening now, because this guy that you hired to play Crazy Dave is not 23 or 24 years old. He's a middle-aged guy with, bald head and with a hitch in his giddy up. How do we make that work? It's funny, but how do we make it work?
Right.
And, I don't know whether she was a believer at the end, but she yelled print a few times, which means, good enough for me.
That's right.
I mean, it's not Dr. Zhivago we're doing.
It isn't. It's My Name is Earl.
Yes.
And My Name is Earl was a fantastic show. They only got canceled because of political shits.
Yeah. And listen, they wrote to the point so often where they would take a subject and talk about it and put a character in a pickle over a certain situation and then come to, if not a moral conclusion, a logical, honest conclusion. Right. And hey, that's a wonderful way to spend a half an hour of television.
It was great. My wife and I never missed an episode.
Yeah. No, listen, compared to, there was that rash of shows that was on NBC that was 30 Rock, and then there was Community, and
I didn't watch any of them.
I tried, and it's just like that's not what I consider entertaining. Just because somebody can kind of come up and say something quippy,
right,
and a quick put down or something, it's
all snark.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's not my cup of tea. And, I don't think I would, if I had one more piece of entertainment to watch before I passed, I don't believe it would be, Still the King. But it's a very viable piece of entertainment.
I'll agree with that. I mean, me thinking I've got decades, I'll watch Still the King.
Well, yeah.
Plus, I love Joey Lauren Adams. She's great.
She's a nice gal, too. I'll tell you. She's a real, honest, doesn't try to hide the bruises, and she knows how to cuss, and she knows how to be an actor. And, people don't realize it when you're doing something like Still the King. Those aren't done in a studio under ideal conditions. Those are in people's houses in the bad parts of Nashville.
In churches, yeah.
And it's with no air conditioning and chop, chop, chop. We got 7 pages to shoot and we only got 4 hours to go, or, whatever the scenario is. It's not very pleasant. And you spend a lot of time kind of not breathing in very good air, waiting. And you can get not bitter, but you just get tired and you get cranky. And especially for women, because look, a woman on television, their face is right there. If they're not looking good, saying just the right thing, there is a swarm of other actresses that are just thundering towards her future.
Right. Yep.
And that would make me paranoid. Listen, I'm a funky character actor. They almost can't either ruin me or fix me. It's just I am what I am. And so I don't worry too much about the glamour aspect of it. But if you're somebody like her, her job is to look good and look perky and be smart and say sexy things. And, when it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon and you've had a couple of bad meals and too many cups of coffee, it's hard to be those things. People don't realize it, man. Life's in session, and there's 20 people in a room that's built to hold 6. And
right.
They're in there making a movie, and there's always some mentally ill person on the set. There always is. There's always a bipolar.
And if you look around and you can't find them, it's you.
Yeah.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors. Let's get back into it.
Well, I know I'm whacked. It's that tension that happens. First of all, it's competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's trying to look good.
Right.
Everybody's trying to score. It's tiring. the studios are hiring you for a lot less than what you're worth, and they're working you very hard. And also the crews are getting younger and younger and younger. And to maintain your composure, even under ideal mental conditions, would be a challenge. I worked with an actor, and I'm not going to say his name because you would know. And he was in a cop show. He was in a cop show.
Okay.
He admitted he needs meds. I worked with him on the thing, and yeah, sure enough, he was, by 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, he was starting to act like, about a 7-year-old boy.
Really?
And at least he verbalized it, that he's not really having a great time of it right now, and got through the scene, and he was a little snappy at a couple of the people, but nothing bad. And it, just like any other situation when you're working around somebody and maybe they're not having a very good day.
Sure.
And so, listen, you got to deal with that. The last thing I worked on, it was a pilot with Victoria Jackson was in it. And
really?
A guy, yes. And a guy named David White was the lead and one of the producers. He made a movie called Holy Man Undercover, which in its own weird way is kind of a funny movie. I would encourage anybody to see this interview that I did with David on the day that I was on the set. And it's really funny.
How would somebody find that interview?
YouTube, Clint Howard, Holy Man.
Okay.
I was sick. I remember, I had like a head cold, and my voice was really, really gravelly. And I was wearing one of those faux beards like the Amish wear. And mine looked ridiculous, and I sounded ridiculous. And they had paid me, so I was feeling really good. And we had broken the back on the scene. And
what does that mean? Broken the back on the scene?
Getting the important shots. Like okay. If you're running a mile, it would be running the first 2/3 of the mile.
Okay.
You broke the back of the mile.
Gotcha.
Just from here on in, it's just go. It's like you can never really relax when you're making a movie, because when you're doing entertainment on film or videotape, if you relax, you lose your momentum and your mojo, and it changes everything. So you almost have to grind just to stay consistent.
Gotcha.
They don't teach acting classes that do things like this. And this is what I propose, although I could teach an acting class in about 10 minutes.
That'd be a terrible business decision for you.
To acting class?
No, to teach it in 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, no, I'd have to stretch it out.
Yeah.
No, but that's what it would take. My dad, seriously, everything I need to know about acting, I could tell you in about 10 minutes. And most of the other stuff is instinct. And of course, there is some stuff that you need to, people that don't have the instincts, you sort of help guide them towards where they might find them.
Sure.
So the teaching of it is very, very simple. You listen.
Don't give all the secrets away here.
It's 3 minutes.
Make them pay for it, man.
You listen. Well, it would be embarrassing. I could get $5.
All right, everybody, send Clint $5.
If everybody sent me $5, the world would be a much better place.
All right, cool.
That's actually not a bad.
I know, right?
I could campaign.
Send it to me, and I'll get it to Clint.
No, Steve, no. In fact, I've heard the opposite. I think you ought to send it directly to me. I'm going to take care of Steve.
Oh, shit. All right, let's do it, Clint.
But to teach an acting class where you do it on the 10th floor of an office building up there by the pigeons, it's cold, it's blowing 20 miles an hour, got a shitty pot of coffee. You wait till about 10 o'clock at night, some little nervous guy comes up to you and says, "You gotta go! Gotta go, chop, chop!" Be an actor then. Be an actor.
When you've been sitting around waiting all day just drinking coffee?
And it's 35 degrees, and you've got some little yin-yang who's trying to tell you if you could just pick it up a little bit, we could all be in a better place.
Yeah, like in acting classes, don't they teach you, like, pretend you're drinking out of that cup? But you really need to actually practice pretending to drink out of a real cup.
Theory is theory, and doing it is doing it. And every human being has a motive for where they're at, and they have an intention of what they want to do. They got a plan. Everybody, you have a motive. I have a motive. I know one of the easiest things to teach a child is know where you've been. Were you at the 7-Eleven? Where were you? Were you in reading a book? What were you doing? Maybe did you just get finished going to the bathroom? You got to find something. Where were you and where are you going? And all the talk and all the theory aside, mimicking the human being and not mimicking, that's like you're doing an imitation, but act like the guy and do it with your own God-given ability. Because God makes everybody special. There's a little something about everybody. Sometimes it's a little emptiness behind their eyes, and sometimes they're just a little too grandiose, or sometimes they're a little too shy, or everybody's got something. You find that and you use it as you build this character. Listen, I say it on my Facebook page. I work at the carnival. What I do for a living is about as important as somebody that works the Midway. I have a cigar box. I have a little booth at the Midway. I borrow a booth. I'm using somebody's booth. I don't have a booth, but I have a cigar box. And over the course of time, I have gone to the carnival and I've put my cigar box out and I've opened it up and I've done my little act and I've made a living. And I've entertained people, and people have had maybe better evenings because they've seen me. Maybe it doesn't really matter. I've killed some time for them and showing them something that I do that puts a smile on their face or elicits some sort of emotion. And then when the night is over, I close my cigar box and I'll figure out where my next carnival stop is. Honest to God, I can't make myself any more important than that.
It's good that you don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah, there's been thousands of people that I've met that taken themselves way too seriously. And in my mind, I go, what idiots. And there are people that are heavyweights. I admire people that are heavyweights, and occasionally the world has a few heavyweights, real big time problem solvers, big time conduits for conversation. There are special people in the world, but generally speaking, just acting, I ain't teaching. I'm not doing any doctoring.
You're not doing any doctoring?
No.
All right, good to know.
I'm not military. I'm just a guy telling jokes or telling a little story, pulling a leg. That's what I love to do more than anything, is pull legs.
Yeah.
If I feel like I can do a job and tug on the audience's leg a couple of times real good, I'll figure that's job well done. Because I think everybody kind of needs to have their leg pulled on.
Sure.
That's the whole thing about when I did that Pippi Longstocking short for Funny or Die. The whole idea is, does this guy really believe that Pippi Longstocking could be a superhero?
Well, she was a superhero.
Strongest woman in the world. Lift a horse with one hand.
I mean, by the definition of a superhero, she was a superhero.
Telepathically communicates with animals. Pippi Longstocking, she had attitude. Damn right she could be a superhero. Well, that was the whole premise of the short. And if you actually get somebody doing a double take going, wow, and she would be, then you got a winner.
Man, they need to bring those movies back.
Pippi?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I don't know. Really?
Well, jazz it up.
She had no rack.
She was also like 14, so who cares?
Well, yeah, you can't play her 14, though. She ages.
Yeah.
She's like Mila Jovovich, I mean, she was grown up.
Sure.
In the short, they were saying, but she's a child. No, she's not a child. She's got a monkey as a pet, and she's carrying around a machine gun and throwing hand grenades.
Forget we mentioned Rack, but who'd be a fantastic Pippi?
Pippi needs to be a wiry young girl. The braids have to play.
All right, who would you cast as Pippi?
Who would I cast as Pippi?
Emma Watson. Is that her name? That girl.
Miley Cyrus.
Oh, that'd be fucking badass. All
Why
right,
not?
You win.
Why not?
You know what?
You could stencil some freckles on her. Oh, could you imagine?
Know what? I'm gonna pitch that to Billy. See what he says. I mean, he's ignored me thus far, but
Yeah.
But Joey hasn't. Joey's the only one who's responded to me on that show.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I only reached out to her and Billy.
Oddly enough, Camp Adam Carolla, mildly aware and certainly not confused when your name came up.
Oh, Corolla?
It was.
Why did my name come up?
It was just part of the prep.
Oh, good.
It was part of the prep
with Dylan and Gary and whoever.
Here's a dude gonna fly out to pick up a snow globe and save himself. What did I say? $877,000, $876,999 because you still owe me about.
Oh, you know what? This is great podcasting right here.
Wow. Oh, that's a fresh one.
That is a fresh $1 bill, my friend.
Yes. Well, you're now the proud owner of Squeaky Clean.
Wendy, the window washer.
She's a tart.
Yeah,
but don't try anything because it could get kind of funky.
It could get funky.
Snow globes, it's hard to repair them. If you have a moment of lust, it's
a goddamn disaster. That's heartwarming to hear that my name didn't sound...
they didn't go, who?
Yeah. They
what?
were like, what? Who?
No.
Who? Monday, I'm going to go interview a bunch of them.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Your passion for podcasting, I mean, ever since we became friends and your interest in it and your passion, it will carry you a tremendous amount in doing this. You might be really good at this.
Well, that would be awesome, but I'm really just doing it for the fun of it.
Well, yeah, but you know what? What's more fun than being successful?
Well, that's a good point.
Do
you know what? To circle back to that story of how we met.
Yeah.
Sunday, if it all holds, I'm going to get to go watch Kevin Pollak do his show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Well, that was unbelievable that you were watching a streaming podcast.
Nobody knows. I haven't told that story.
Okay. Well, when my buddy Gig, who has a very unusual name, which is probably the reason why you picked up on it, because I mentioned his name, and he's an attorney. When he called me and said, there's a guy that sent me an email, and he tried to get in touch with you. And he was here's a pretty worldly guy. I mean, there's an attorney that's been around the block a few times. He was flummoxed. And I heard the story, and I laughed, and I said... if somebody's got the gonads to pull that off, I'm willing to play along. As it turns out, you weren't pulling anything off. And, you asked for my golf clubs. You asked if you could buy my golf clubs. And I said, I'm not selling them. And then I found an old, was it a putter or a driver? Putter?
Putter.
Can you still putt with it? It couldn't have been very good.
Absolutely, yeah. I suck anyway, so who cares?
Yeah, well.
But no, it's great. I love it.
Well, listen, we probably would be a pretty good match now. If you suck pretty good.
Oh, you would still kick my ass.
Well, maybe. Although, I don't know. I'm not sure I could not make a double.
But you know what? You would kick my ass, but I would have more fun.
Oh, no. But you see, having fun, it's a little like being successful. When you win, you have more fun when you win.
Well, as long as I'm there with you, then I would be your competition. You wouldn't be playing against yourself.
Well, but when you're playing golf, you're playing against yourself. You're playing the score. You're playing shoot as low around as possible.
Sure.
I mean, beating you like a drum, that's an afterthought.
Calm down now.
Come on,
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors. Let's get back into it.
That's almost like when Uwe Boll, the infamous director, challenged me to play ping pong and bet me $100. And now I was a really good table tennis player when I was a kid. And
I saw you have a table out in the garage.
Yeah, I'm good. I was not quite in top form when I when Uwe came. Uwe came out. He lives in Vancouver, from Germany, but he's up in Vancouver, and he was here for the American Film Market, which is every year they have it down in Santa Monica. It's sort of like a film festival without awards. It's just a
Is it
buyer's.
like South by Southwest, or
Well, it's a sort of
more
a
like the upfronts?
They rent a couple of big hotels, and various distributors come and they present their movies, and they'll have screenings, and they'll try to get buyers from all the different markets, and people from all over the world come to Santa Monica to go to the AFM. Well, Uwe went, and Uwe comes to the AFM. He stays there for an hour, but he went, and then he wanted to come by and play me in ping pong.
Here?
Yeah, and
So you set the table up, said, "Bring it,
in
bitch."
10 minutes, I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt he was going to kick my ass 21-13 every game.
What made him decide he wanted to play you? Did y'all have this previous discussion?
Well, I think I mentioned to him I was a pretty good table tennis player, and I am. And
he's got a German ego and was like, "I will kick your ass."
He's an amateur boxer. And when he climbed into the ring with movie critics, and that was like the worst mistake they ever made, because, they didn't realize this kid fought when he was a kid. This Uwe got in the ring and made these critics look like women as they were running around, trying to avoid getting hit. Uwe is an athlete, and Uwe may not really look like an athlete. He's got a bad hip, so he's got a hitch in his giddy up, and he's bald, and he's Uwe Boll. You just don't expect him to be a 5-star athlete. And we were playing ping pong for, it was a few minutes, and I realized right away, I go, there's no way I can beat this guy. And he beat me. We played 3 games, and he beat me, I mean, he may have
really
been giving
came
me
over here just to play you ping pong?
and get $100. Fast pay makes fast friends. I had the money right there, and I paid him right away. And and I'll tell you what, he beat me bad enough to where I don't think I'd want a rematch. I'd have to somehow get in a much better spot physically, and maybe even sharpen the skills. My skills have eroded tremendously on the ping pong table. I was as good. I mean, I was right below being a tournament player.
When you were younger, like a kid, or what?
Yeah, into my early 20s.
Oh, okay. How very punk rock.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys in jail play really good ping pong. And if you start playing guys in jail, I'm not never spending time in jail, but...
Thank you for clarifying. I got confused.
Yeah, a couple of nights in the cooler, but not...
Sure.
I think I had 1 meal. 2. I had a little bowl of cereal, and I had like a little bologna sandwich. So that's my prison experience. God, where were we? I got sidetracked by prison. Something gets me all fired
We're talking
up.
about Uwe Boll.
Oh, no. Uwe, he, in every way, was better than me. And I had gotten good enough to where I could play this unorthodox style and still pretty much call my score with every game I played. And I used to play guys with a book. I had a book called Call of the Wild. And it was a hardcover, a little children's version of this hardcover Call of the Wild. And I would...
Jack London?
Yeah, I would beat guys with that
That's
book.
his name, right? Jack London?
Gamble with the book.
Really?
I'd sport people points. I'll give you 10 points and I'll play with a book.
Chichi Rodriguez used to do that with a Coke bottle.
Yeah, sure. Lee Trevino was famous for that too.
Oh, maybe it was him. I'm sorry.
Lee Trevino could... Listen, no, that's too big. And I need hardcover. It's weird. That Call of the Wild was just right. This is a little heavy. I'm looking at a VHS copy of the movie I did, Gentle Giant.
Did that come out before?
Yes, we did the movie before we did the series, and Vera Miles played my mother. And I must say here, I have been in the bosom of some of the most beautiful women in the world, because I had scenes where I cried on Vera Miles's breast and Maureen O'Hara's breast for days on end.
Maureen O'Hara?
And I was 13. Now, don't tell me I didn't know what was going on. It was some of the best acting I've ever done.
It's a 13-year-old's dream.
Oh, and Vera was no slouch either. Vera Miles, I mean, she's kind of a long-forgotten. She was runner-up Miss America. She worked for John Ford. She did a couple of John Wayne movies. I'll never forget when she was explaining that when it got down to 2, she was so petrified she was going to be Miss America because she got into it. She was a little Kansas schoolgirl. She didn't know. She was naive. She got into it as a lark, and because she was so beautiful, she kept winning. But she got to the finish line and she realized just what a nightmare it was going to be if you were going to have to be Miss America for the whole year, that she literally cried tears of joy when she lost.
Oh, that's awesome. She's like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, well, it's, you know, if you spend a week being at a beauty pageant, being primed and, you know,
right,
and now you realize you got to do that for the next year.
Yeah, no missteps. Everybody's watching all the time.
And it's gotten a lot worse. Imagine in Vera's era, it was probably, you know.
Well, there was no social media. There wasn't a camera phone lurking around every corner waiting for you to fuck up.
No. In fact, you know, you realize that there are cameras now that you can buy. Consumer cameras that you can buy are no bigger than like zip ties.
Right. Yeah.
Put them right here. In fact, I was going to go on a comedy talk show. It was a live thing at the Pasadena Civic Auditorium. And these guys were known for being kind of outrageous and doing nutty shit. I was going to get a body cam and come out on stage just to protect my ass.
Really?
Yeah, because if these guys were going to try anything funny, I wanted it to be recorded because it wasn't on television. It was a live event.
Right.
I felt like that might get a laugh, and it also might keep them from doing something that would be kind of embarrassing. Because if I had one of those little things, they look like big ballpoint pens.
Right.
You put them in your pocket.
Yeah, like you just put a Sharpie in your pocket.
Yeah, and if they know what you've got, they're liable not to urinate into your windpipe.
Sure.
I would hope they wouldn't urinate into your windpipe anyway.
That'd be a rough day.
Be a hell of a podcast.
Yes.
Gee. Extreme podcasting.
Yes, extreme
Why not?
podcasting. Well,
Think about it. You might not be a very long career if you talk about skinning cats.
The jackass of podcasting.
Yeah. Why not? Stupid is as stupid does.
I heard that somewhere.
Yeah. I think an Academy Award winner said it.
Some famous person said that once.
Well, listen, I'm about talked out. You've I don't know how long have we been doing this?
15 minutes.
Yeah.
No, let's end it. Ready?
Good night. And I've talked to a bunch of people who are real podcast enthusiasts. And they always mention your show. And also Kevin Pollak. They just think you're funny. This guy, Steve, he thinks you're really funny.
Did we get a last name out of Steve?
It's Owens.
Steve Owens. That sounds familiar.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And in fact, he's going to buy one of my snow globes. In fact,
you want to plug the snow globes, by the way?
Well, I have snow globes for sale for what, $788,000. I'm just trying to sell one. No, $288,000. I just want to sell one.
You don't actually sell them, do you?
If you've got $288,000, I'll sell you one. And one of them traveled. One of them, somebody tried to fly and it broke.
Oh,
so
shit.
I will give him to somebody if they won't take it on an airplane. This guy, Steve, he lives in Texas, and this guy's going to fly out from San Antonio and drive back with a snow globe. And it was made in his honor. I met the guy, and he's got a fascinating kind of career and a life, and he's kind of funny, and it gave me the idea for a snow globe, and I made it, and I offered it to him, and he took me up on the offer. He's going to come out and pick it up and drive home.
Very cool.
And I imagine you've seen Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
It just might be a snow globe reference.
Chased from the lines, beat up
Opening music is the song Magnolia from the 2014 album Intransigence, used with permission from Douglas Miles Clark. Closing music is Apollo from the 2001 album Into the Known by the band Sapphire. Thanks for hanging out with us and getting to know a little bit about our guest. We'll see you next time on Fascination Street.